So thank you guys for joining. How's it going, David? Yeah, it's going pretty good. Can't complain at all. Yeah, no problem. I'm sure you'll get a lot of this today. You know, it's all about basically infinite expansion, how to infinitely expand your vision of abundance. It's a personal story of mine that I like to share, and it's really meant to take your mind to the next level and just teach you how to create abundance in life to a massive level or massive scale, essentially. You know, so yeah, appreciate you guys for joining today. Let's go. Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna allow one more minute and then we're gonna go straight into the presentation. Just make sure. Yeah, we should have a few more people joining, but sometimes just with time and everything like that. Let's see. And then we'd really like to give a quick shout out to Yvonne, who's on here too. She's actually my fiance, so yeah, definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. All right, so let me go ahead and actually start the presentation. So thank you guys for being a part of this infinite expansion, how to infinitely expand your vision of abundance. This is my story about just creating abundance, just sharing with you guys a few things that have happened. And yeah, so we'll go till about 6:30 or so. We're in Central Time today. We'll go till about 6:30, and if you guys have any questions, we do ask that you save it for the end. The presentation itself is about 20 minutes, and then at the end, we'll leave about 5 minutes at the end for Q&A. Thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook, and then thank you guys for tuning in on Instagram. So let's get into it. So today I'll be basically giving you guys an introduction of who I am for those who don't know who I am. Talk about my purpose in life. Give you guys a compassionate statement, just so we're on the same page with everything. And then we'll talk about the 12 steps. So the meat of the presentation is the 12 steps to creating an abundant lifestyle. Then I'll propose a challenge to you guys on something you guys can do in order to, as a next step. So we'll go into the challenge, and then we'll go to the next steps, and then at the end, with 5 minutes left or so, we'll leave it for about Q&A. So who am I? My name is Jeff Badu. I'm a licensed certified public accountant. I graduated from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, so I do have a formal education. And I graduated with those degrees in accounting. I'm a parallel entrepreneur and a wealth multiplier, the founder and CEO of Badu Enterprises, LLC, which is a multinational conglomerate in the finance industry. And we provide a suite of financial services, including our marquee company, which is Badu Tax Services. And that's a tax firm that does tax preparation, planning, and representation for individuals and businesses across all 50 states in the U.S., as well as 10 different countries at the moment. And also, part of that is Badu Investments LLC, which is my real estate investment company primarily. It's also a car rental company, but it's primarily a real estate investment company. And we invest in multifamilies on the south side of Chicago, Gary, Indiana, and we also have some projects that are in the works in Ghana as well, which is where I'm originally from. So my purpose in life is to inspire and support the super hungry to take hold of infinite resources in order to create an abundant lifestyle. For those that are driving or those that need to hear it the second time, let me say it one more time. My purpose in life is to inspire and support the super hungry to take hold of infinite resources in order to create an abundant lifestyle. The purpose of this presentation today is to go through that purpose statement in 12 steps. So how did I come about that purpose? Well, I was born and raised in Ghana, and I was fortunate enough to come to the United States of America, the land of the free, home of the brave, when I was 8 years old. I was migrated to Chicago. My parents were already here. I migrated here with my older sister. And I was 8 at the time. She was 16 at the time. And went through some rough times. So I'll fast forward. But basically went through some rough times. Just getting acquainted to American life. And wasn't put in the best neighborhood, unfortunately. So got involved with a lot of different things over the days. And ultimately, at the age of 16, my family and I, they decided to take a family trip to Ghana. So at 16, we went back to Ghana, just a quick summer vacation. I'm thinking it's just a vacation. Next thing you know, I discovered my purpose in life, which is to inspire and support the super hungry in order to take hold of infinite resources in order to create an abundant lifestyle. Basically, I saw people struggling. I saw a lady who had 2 kids on her back, not just 1, but 2, and she had a huge heavy load of bread, oranges, things of that nature, just to sell on the street to make ends meet. And I can look at this person, I'm like, wow. I was put into America, land of the brave, home of the free, all that good stuff. And why is it that I can't be the one that's thriving? Why is it that I can't be the one that's helping these people? So I made a promise to myself that I'll be the one that would be helping people as it relates to finances and money. So that's why I'm so passionate when it comes to financial literacy, is because of the experiences. Some of the things that I've seen over time really led me into that purpose statement, and that I saw somebody who was hungry. And when I say hungry, not just hungry physically, but they were hungry mentally. They were hungry. There was a divine hunger in them that I saw that I needed to help them with. So I said, why not be the guy that supplies people with resources through the Badu Enterprises, the Badu Foundation, all that good stuff? Why not be the person that supplies people with infinite resources in order for people to create an abundant lifestyle? And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. The 12 steps to creating an abundant lifestyle. Step 1, you need to become aware that infinite resources do in fact exist. So if you have a smartphone, if you're joining us today, we're streaming live on Zoom, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're joining us today, you have a smartphone. You have access to infinite resources. Meaning that you can go on Google right now and search anything. You can go on YouTube and become the best chef on the planet. Because that's the type of world we live in. We have infinite resources available at our fingertips. So you need to become aware of that. You need to put that mentally in your mind, that infinite resources do in fact exist. I will say that I did go through a formal education in college. However, I didn't really learn how to do taxes until I went on YouTube and started watching videos on how to do taxes. Right? What are the different forms I need to use? How do you handle business taxes, which I wasn't taught in school? I wasn't taught that until I took the CPA exam. Basically, when I was going through the CPA, the license curriculum. And yeah, I was like, basically, I learned how to do taxes. I learned how to build a tax business off of YouTube. Watching the videos, going online, using the various softwares out there. So truly, I became aware that infinite resources exist when I was pretty young. This is my freshman year in college when basically I was building my business plan, which was Badu Tax Services. So essentially, as I was building my business plan, I was also doing the research. I was on YouTube, and I was ultimately doing all these things to gather the resources that I needed in order to launch and start my tax firm, which is now a part of 12 other businesses within the Badu Enterprises overall brand. Step 2, once we found out that infinite resources exist, we need to enter into a no excuse zone. Meaning we don't have the excuse about time anymore, right? Because a lot of us have time, right? To put it very blatantly, a lot of us have time because some of us are forced to be home right now. Some of us may not be able to go to work. Some of us can't go into the office. Some of us can't go to the clubs. Some of us can't go anywhere. So we have to enter into this no excuse zone of the whole we don't have time. That's not an excuse anymore. It's not a valid excuse, especially not in today's society. We have plenty of time. The average person watches about 3 hours of television a day. If we just take one of those hours to research or to improve a skill set that we have, I think we would all get ahead pretty far in life. So we have to enter into this no excuse zone of the whole time. We don't have time. We do have time. Nobody was cursed with 23 hours, nor was somebody overblessed with 25 hours. We were all given the same amount of hours. Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man on the planet and the CEO of Amazon, one of my idols, he doesn't complain about time. He was gifted with 24 hours just like anybody else on this call today. Just like myself, just like you and I. So we can't use the whole time thing as an excuse anymore. We can't use money as an excuse because YouTube is a free resource. Right? You don't need to pay anything to go on YouTube. You don't need to pay anything to go on Google. All you need is a smartphone or a computer, internet access, and you're good. If you're joining us today on Facebook, Instagram, or Zoom, you very well have access. So you don't necessarily, you will need money at a certain point, but to get started, to start doing the research, these things don't require money. So typically, the two most common excuses made in life are time and money. So I'm basically saying you need to get rid of both excuses and essentially enter into a no excuse zone. That's step 2 if you want to truly create an abundant lifestyle. Step 3 is you have to know that infinite resources are available to you. And yes, I said you. It doesn't matter your wealth status. It doesn't matter your race, your age. Google does not discriminate who can go on Google. Right? YouTube does not discriminate who can watch YouTube. Now, you can certainly watch cat videos on YouTube. You can watch all the entertainment videos you want. However, there are tons of information on YouTube. If you want to become a real estate investor and start doing research on real estate. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, start doing research when it comes to real estate. Go on YouTube and start searching Grant Cardone, for example, who basically taught me how to get into, thrive into the multifamily real estate game. Or Robert Kiyosaki, how to leverage your one business into 10 or 12 or 15. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, reading that book was awesome. Something I love. It's actually free on YouTube. You can search it right now. And you'll get, that's how I actually read the book. I read it on YouTube as a free resource. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is an awesome book. So if your excuse is about I don't have enough money, that's not a valid excuse anymore. Go on YouTube, start searching these books, start searching these resources, and we'll talk about the steps to specifically identifying the resources for you. We got about 10 minutes or so. But it doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your age. We got 10-year-olds that can become a millionaire in the stock market just by trading. We got 15-year-olds that can start a tech company just by tapping into the resources. They don't need to go to Harvard or Yale or that. They just need a will and they need a way. And they need to get rid of all the excuses that we tend to make in life. Step 4 is this is where it starts getting spiritual. You create a vision. Create the vision, what you truly want. Not what your parents want, not what your kids want, not what your spouse want, but what you want. Think about what you want in this world. This is the time for you, in a way, to be selfish a little bit. But basically, this is the time to take pride and say, you know what? I was put on this planet for a reason. And I need to discover what it is that I want to do. That's my vision. The vision is where you want to be. Right? It could be anything. It could be I want 3 cars in my garage. It can be I want a big house. I want to start a medical practice. I want to start 10 tax businesses. I want to run a manufacturing shop. I want to own 100 units, real estate properties. It doesn't matter. So this is the time for you. What I typically do is I close my eyes for about 5 minutes, right? 3 to 5 minutes. And I just start picturing things that I want. The reason why I like to close my eyes is because when you close your eyes, you have a blank board. You're forced to think. You're forced to create a vision. So it's better when you have a blank board because it's something fresh. It's no distraction, cell phone and all that. It's pure content that's coming out of your mind essentially. And as you're doing that, I challenge you to write it down. Write down a few things. Nice house, nice car. Write it down on paper. One of my mottos in life is, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. And it is very true in my world. Step 5, identify the resources you need. So remember I talked about, okay, we'll go on YouTube and all that good stuff. But now it's time to specifically say, okay, in order to start my medical practice, I need to talk to 3 people in the medical field. I need to go to Northwestern and I need to identify these folks. Or I need to go on LinkedIn and I need to start researching these people. It can be your family, it could be your colleagues, whoever it is, a mentor. This is the time where I identify that specific video that you need to watch on YouTube. For me, it was about doing taxes, right? So it was about doing taxes. So all the videos that I researched was doing taxes. And here's the thing, a lot of people say, well, there's a lot of garbage on the internet, which is true, but the way that search engine optimization works nowadays is the garbage is usually flushed out, right? It's usually one of the last things you see. So if you go on if you search the word taxes or how to prepare tax returns on YouTube right now, I would go through the first 3 videos you see. Watch all 3 videos, and usually 2 out of the 3 will tell you the same thing. Right? And then identify, this is where you pick out, okay, who is the author of the video? Maybe he has other videos that I can watch. So this is where you get very specific. You write down that name of the person. I just gave you a name for real estate. His name is Grant Cardone. Great guy to follow for multifamily real estate investments. You can follow me on YouTube, for example, if you need help with financial literacy, taxes, and all that good stuff. I'm on YouTube as well. So this is the time where you identify the specific resources that you need. Step 6, none of this makes sense if you're not actually taking time. When I say dedicated time, I mean concentrated time that you're sitting down and you're absorbing the content, whatever it takes. For me, I like to listen to audiobooks. That's how I like to absorb content, when I listen. I was born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, and I use it as such. So I love to listen. So you'll see me from time to time that I'll have some headphones in. Usually I'm listening to something. I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm listening to a speech, I'm listening to something that's keeping my mind engaged. I don't like to be bored. I'm somebody who I like to go. You know, sometimes when I get bored, it's kind of scary to me sometimes. You know, and there's a time and a place and all that good stuff. But overall, you have to dedicate time. So this is where you say, okay, I'm going to block off an hour of my day, each day for the next 7 days, to watch Grant Cardone talk about real estate. Right? This is where I'm going to spend 15 minutes. It can be as short as 15. It can be as long as an hour, 2 hours, however long it needs to be. And I'm going to specifically reach out to so-and-so about opening up my medical practice or my law firm or my manufacturing company, whatever it is, right? Whatever it takes. It could be reading. For me, I'm a terrible reader. I don't like to read books. I like to listen to books. I get through about 30 audiobooks every single year. So effectively, that's 30 books that I read every year. So I'm not the guy that likes to physically read a book. I like to physically listen to a book. And same thing, when I actually write a book, I'm on my 3rd book right now. I've already written 2 books. I'm on my 3rd book right now. When I'm actually writing a book, I speak the book into existence first before it actually lands on paper. That's a secret in case you guys didn't know that. Step 7, you prioritize taking detailed notes. So none of this makes any sense if you can't recall what you just learned. Very important. You take notes. For me, it's bullet points. What are the 5 important things that I learned today? Right? I watched the video. If it's a Grant Cardone video, he said, net operating income. This is how you calculate it. This is what it means. This is what a good property entails. As you're watching these videos, as you're looking through these resources, you have to take notes, because the average person is so busy nowadays that they forget what they just did an hour ago. Right? Just an hour ago, they forget what they did. So with that being said, it only makes sense if you actually take the time and energy and take some detailed notes. And detail can mean bullet points. For me, it's always bullet points. I love, if you see all my notes, it's always in bullet point form. It's not in full paragraphs. And no, I'm not that type of person. I like quick bullet points. I'm an on-the-go type of person. Step 8, this is where it gets even more spiritual. And that instead of opening up 1 medical practice, it's 3. It's 5. It's 7. Rich Dad Poor Dad helped me grow from one person accounting firm to 30 people accounting firm. From one person enterprise to 100 people enterprise. From one company to 12. Right? From one real estate property to, at the end of 2020, about 60. Or 60 units, I should say. So just continuously expand your vision. Expand, expand, expand. Right? Expand your vision through digging as deep as you possibly can. This is where the thinking needs to go deeper. This is where the small thinkers don't last too long. If you're a small thinker, you won't last too long in this side, on this exercise. This is where instead of 5 minutes, you take 10 minutes to think a little deeper. Then step 9, hey, this is a very spiritual process. You sit and you really, really think deeply. Is this what you truly want? Right? This is not the part where you doubt yourself, but you're saying basically, can I go further? Right? In my world, this is why it's called infinite expansion. In my world, there's no limits. I can expand to as many as I want. If you were to see my vision, right? If the average person were to see my vision, they would go blind. It's just straight up like that. My vision is bigger than Mansa Musa, one of the wealthiest, the wealthiest person to ever scratch the surface of this planet. My vision is way bigger than Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man currently on the planet. So if you were to see my vision, you would literally go blind. That's the type of thinking that you guys need to do, to the point where you just can't even think anymore. You're like, man, I'm so bogged down. Right? I think so much, right? Remember, we're not thinking so we second guess ourselves. We're just thinking, how do we expand to be the best that we can be possible? And I know some people, when you overthink, you tend to second guess. This is not the stage where we're doing that. We're just expanding upon our thoughts that we currently have. Step 10, you actually formalize it and set a vision board. You put it down on paper. All right, this is where you cut out pictures in a magazine, where you draft up a poster board. So you have a formal vision board. I have my vision board as well. I have a 2020 vision board, a 2025, and then a 2030 vision board. So I like to break up my vision in those pieces. You can do it however way you want, but you do need at least a 1-year vision board. What do you want in 2020? And of course, now we have to plan for 2021. I know COVID-19 is going on and everything, but we still need to set our vision boards. We can't let some silly disease or virus slow us down. I know it will slow some of the things we do, but it should not slow our vision, our overarching goal down. Step 11, none of this makes any sense if you're not taking any action towards the attainment of your vision. So this is where you actually go out and, okay, you've heard about Grant Cardone speak, and he said, go out and find 100 properties before you place your bid on your first property. Well, this is the time where you go ahead and do that, where you actually analyze about 100 buildings, or you go out and you analyze some buildings. Now, in real estate, you don't need to go to 100 buildings, absolutely not, before you buy your first one. But you do need to make sure you know what you're doing, basically. That's what he's trying to say. So this is where you're actually drafting up your business plan for your medical practice or your law firm. Or maybe this is the part where you actually launch your tax firm like I did in 2016. So you got to take steps. Step 12, always monitor your present reality to infinitely expand your vision of abundance. Meaning that if you have 2 medical practices, go to 4. Right? Find ways to do 4. If you have 4, find ways to do 8. If you have 8, find ways to do 12. If you have 12, find ways to do 24. And so on and so forth. I didn't grow to where I am today by not continuously expanding. You have to expand. In this world, we got to expand. In COVID-19, we don't contract, we expand. We expand as much as we can, from a business standpoint. My challenge to everyone listening, go out and create an abundant lifestyle because you truly deserve it and you truly desire it. Next steps, this is my contact information for those that don't have it. Whoever invited you, I challenge you to schedule a follow-up, just to take the conversation a little bit further. This will actually turn into a book. So my 3rd book, believe it or not, is on what I just presented. That will be coming at a later time. Of course, that's not the purpose of this presentation, but just to put the things in perspective. So with that being said, we got just about a few minutes. Thank you guys for listening, for questions. So I know we got people listening on Facebook Live, we got Instagram, and then we also have our main Zoom platform. So I'll be happy to take any questions at this time, acknowledgments, things of that nature. Looks like we got a few people watching on Facebook. Let's see. Yep, dropping gems. Amen to that. All right. So any questions before we got just about, we'll do about 2 minutes for questions. We usually like to be on time when it comes to this presentation. So we'll just do about, we'll do about a minute now for any questions, comments, anything. If you guys ever need anything, please feel free to reach out. Don't ever hesitate. You know, I'm a very open person. Very, I try to keep things real, and I like to have real conversations with people. So in a time like COVID-19, we don't need to contract, we need to expand. David does have a question. He says, when speaking your thoughts instead of writing, which tool do you use? That's a great question. Very, very great question. Believe it or not, I use Zoom. So I literally record myself on Zoom, like whether I'm on camera or basically audio. And then I send it to my guy on, there's a guy that I have on Fiverr. Fiverr is a site where you can get somebody, basically pay them $5 or so, and they'll transcribe the audio into written. So I record myself on Zoom. If you're not comfortable with Zoom, they also have platforms like the Voice. They have a voice recording app on like your phone, like iPhone and things of that nature. So yeah, basically you can always find a platform. And then we have Lorene on Facebook. She said, thank you. This is my first time viewing, and I've just subscribed to your YouTube channel. Great information. Amen to that. Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It's basically my name, Jeff Badu. And there's now 104 videos on YouTube that I have. I didn't even know it was that much, to be honest. I just checked yesterday. Tons of videos just on like any finance topic, taxes, insurance, real estate, abundance, all that good stuff. So we'll do one last call for questions. We got one for, so let's see. Following an example on real estate. Do you give yourself a time frame of say 3 months or a year after searching a multifamily property? In general, yes, you do want to give yourself a time frame. Me personally, it took me about 6 months of real estate research. I literally attended real estate seminars. I'm one of those guys that went to the 1 hour, the Flip This House, those programs. Then I went to the 1 day, and then I went to the 3 day. So I'm one of those guys that's been through it. Then I signed up for a real estate course. It was about a 50-hour real estate course. Then I started shadowing people, right? I started doing wholesaling. I started talking to mentors, reaching out to people. And then eventually I landed my first wholesale deal. So I did my first wholesale deal in about 2017. It was a deal that was in Hyde Park that I was able to close. And then eventually, I just started buying properties, buying and buying. We went on to do a single family rehab that took a while, took a long time. We eventually sold that 2 years after that. Bought a multifamily, utilizing FHA financing, and then bought a single family. And overall, we're always acquiring. So yeah, you get more comfortable with anything in life. You do your research. You don't have to do 6 months, 1 year, and all that. It's how comfortable you are and how fast you can learn. Because what if you're only doing 10 minutes a day versus somebody who's doing 8 hours a day? That 8 hours a day person is going to get there way faster than you are. So it's not about the time per se as far as like days. It's the time as far as effort and energy that you're putting in. So yes, to answer the question, I would probably, before you buy your first real estate property, I'll probably do about 3 months of research. Just on, if you need one, where do you start? Go on my website, jeffbadu.com. Anything having to do with real estate, just research it. Read the article. It's also in video and audio. I have a podcast as well. And I have my radio show, Money Talks, every Monday night on WGAC 98.3 FM. You can catch that on my website too. So overall, yeah, I mean, you don't have to do a ton of research, but you must do research in general. For me, it took me about 100 hours total, 100 hours before I bought my first real estate property of just research, pure research. And of course, I took notes as I was doing the research. I still have notes from what I wrote in 2015 and 2016. You know, all these years that I started doing research on these finance things. And Lorene says, do you have information on life insurance on YouTube? Yes, I do. I do have a video that's on life insurance. We also run, full disclosure, we run Badu Life and Health Solutions, LLC, which is, the CEO is actually on this call, my fiance, Yvonne. We'll be more than happy to help you. Life insurance is a very powerful tool. You won't believe it, but me personally, I'm a big proponent of life insurance. When a lender looks at my financials, you know, they're like, holy cow, this guy is a real believer of life insurance. I love real estate, I love taxes, but man, life insurance is something that could really change your wealth trajectory tremendously. It's something that, if you go, I mean, I challenge you guys to go and watch the video, go and read the article that I wrote. But once you find out what life insurance can do, the fact that it's not just life and death and all that, that it's a true wealth building tool, that a real estate investor can use this as their own bank, man, that's powerful. That is very, very, very powerful. If you need more details on that, please go ahead and check out the website, check out the article. But with that being said, we'll wrap it up. If you guys need anything, please feel free to email me, call me, text me, you know, DM me on Facebook, Instagram. And yeah, hopefully you guys gain something from it. Appreciate it, Tiffany. And we'll be good. All right. Hope you guys enjoy it. Stay safe. Stay home. Don't go outside if you don't need to, because it is pretty dangerous out there. But hope you guys take care. And we'll be back in the future. Thank you, guys.